What's up, everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down the Punisher One Last Kill trailer and giving you my thoughts on the trailer. This trailer looked really good. Now, I've been excited for this Punisher special presentation from Marvel Studios since they announced the thing. I think it was last year they announced it, right? And, um, I love John Bernthal. He's one of my favorite actors, right? He's a great actor in everything that he's in, right? And I love John Bernthal's take on Frank Castle, the Punisher, right? And for me, it was really cool to see Punisher and Daredevil firmly in the MCU now, and um, and stuff like that, and 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 if you guys have been watching my Daredevil Born Again season 2 reviews, you know how much I love that show. You know how important Daredevil is to me, right? And Punisher is one of my favorite Marvel characters, right? So for me, it's like I get a mini Punisher movie with, in my opinion, the best guy to ever play Punisher. Yeah. And I cannot wait to see it. So I'm very excited for this. I'm very excited for this project, this special presentation, mini movie, right? And the trailer looked very dope, right? Um, so first of all, if you guys don't know what this special presentation is, so this special presentation is called Punisher One Last Kill. It is written by, or one of the writers on it is John Bernthal, and the other writer and director of it is Ronaldo Marcus Green. Now, um, I really respect people as a creative myself that loves to act, that loves to sing, that loves to make music, that loves to create characters, that loves to tell stories, that loves to write stories, that loves to be a storyteller. As a creative myself, I really respect people that are like, I have an idea for this character. I'm going to write the thing, get somebody else who's also super uberly talented to help me write the thing, and I'm also gonna ask that person to help me direct the thing, and then I'm gonna pitch it to Marvel and get it made. Right? I really respect that as a fellow creative myself. As you guys know, I write music. I do music. I do freestyles on this channel. I love to do voices. I love to act. I love to dance. I love all forms of entertainment. And the reason I do is because I love them, but I also love being a storyteller, and I love making people feel emotion and stuff like that. And and telling stories that 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 really affect people in ways like you can be really happy watching a movie, you can be really sad watching a movie, you can go on a roller coaster of emotions watching a movie, right? And um I really respect John Bernthal for saying, hey, I have an idea for this. I'm gonna make this idea. I'm gonna get somebody else really talented to help me write this idea. We're gonna write this together, and I'm also gonna get that really talented person to help me direct the thing, and then I'm gonna pitch it to Marvel, right? Like that. I really respect that as a fellow creative, and yeah. So the trailer starts off with Frank. It's not a very long trailer, but we're gonna break it down anyway, right? With Frank in a dream. Frank is talking to Curtis in this dream, and Curtis is from the Netflix Punisher series. And if you haven't watched the Netflix Punisher series, it's on Disney Plus. I strongly recommend you watch that. It's I would say it's as good as Daredevil is, right? The Punisher series is as good as Daredevil is. So if you guys liked with Daredevil Netflix and you like Born Again, you will probably really like the Punisher series if you haven't watched it yet. But yeah, Curtis is one of the characters from the Punisher Netflix series, and 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 so he's talking to Frank is talking to Curtis, and then we see um, like Frank's head. In Frank's head, I think Curtis is meant to be a manifestation of all the guilt that Frank feels, right? Because I don't think it's actual Curtis that's talking to Frank in this trailer. I think it's the Curtis that I think it's a manifestation of all the guilt that Frank feels, and the reason I say that is because um, also in the trailer we get glimpses of Frank's wife, we get glimpses of his son, we get glimpses of um, a burning down house that Frank runs out of, right? And I think that's all in Frank's head while Frank is dreaming, right? So like, and in the trailer it says Punisher will lose it, or he'll lose it, but he'll also find peace in some way, right? And we know that Punisher is going to show up in Spider-Man Brand New Day, so we know that Punisher's not going to retire from being the Punisher, but we know that, like, in my mind, and this is just my theory, right? In my mind, like, Frank finding peace would be like Frank knowing for certain that everybody that had something to do with his family's death is dead, right? And I think whoever the villain is of this project is the last person alive to have something to do with Punisher's death. I mean, Punisher's Frank's family's death. So yeah, for me, the trailer looked awesome. It looked like we're gonna get deeper into Punisher than we've ever gotten before. Um, John Bernthal plays the character so well, like, cause you can like the way that John Bernthal performs this character is, yes, when he's fighting, he's complete in soldier mode, but this man, Frank Castle, has also been through more loss than anybody, like a lot of loss in his life and a lot of guilt, right? He also plays that really really well for like, and he also shows how determined Frank is. So I'm very excited to see who the villain is. Why is Frank being pulled back in to um become the Punisher again? By the way, the new suit looks awesome. And yes, it's a new suit. We only see like a glimpse of it in the trailer, but we see it in Spider-Man a bit too. Like the new suit that Frank has looks very armored and stuff like that. And it's gonna be cool too to see Frank interact with somebody like a Spider-Man who, like, we've seen him interact with Daredevil, we've seen him interact with Kingpin, but it's gonna be really, really, really cool to see him interact with somebody like Spider-Man, who I would assume Spider-Man knows who Frank is, because whatever Frank does in this special is probably gonna be on Spider-Man's radar, right? Um, and and yeah, like it looks like this is Frank getting revenge on somebody. Like obviously it's gonna be motivated by revenge, whoever he's taking out in this special, right? It looks like he's fighting the mob in this special. That's why I say, like, I think either I think if Curtis is in this special, Curtis gets killed by somebody, and then Frank goes off to go kill whoever killed Curtis, or they're gonna say that, like, whoever this villain is of the project is had something to do with Frank's family's death. And the reason I say that is because they're focusing a lot on Frank's family in this trailer, which I don't have a problem with because that's what motivates him to become the Punisher, and that's why he becomes the Punisher. Like, even though Batman doesn't kill, like I almost see Punisher and Batman as very similar characters for that reason, because Batman is like, he's motivated to become Batman and to become a hero because of his parents being murdered, but he's also haunted by that, right? Frank is motivated to become a hero in his own right, but he is also um he's also haunted by his family's death. So like, I'm very interested when the trailer says Frank will find peace, but he will also lose. He'll lose it, and then he'll find peace. So I'm very interested to see what they mean by find peace, right? That's why I think that whoever the villain is has something to do with Frank's family's death, right? And Frank's gonna go and do what he has to do to make sure that person is taken care of, right? And honestly, guys, I'm just excited to see this special. I I get why it's coming out a week after Daredevil Born Again season 2 finale, because Daredevil and Punisher will always be linked, right? In my mind, they'll always be linked because they're, other than Matt not killing and Frank killing, they're very similar characters, right? Um, they're both motivated by loved ones dying, to become their own type of heroes. They're both stubborn. They're both motivated. They both have a strong sense of justice. They have different ways of doing things, but like, for me, I'm gonna be very interested to see what do they mean by Frank finds peace in this special, because obviously he's not gonna stop being the Punisher because he's in Spider-Man. So like, I'm very interested to see what they find, what they mean by that. I would assume, and this is just my theory, I would assume that like Frank, after killing whoever this villain is in the uh, project, gets um, gets revenge and kind of peace, knowing that everybody that had something to do with his family's murder is gone. Right? That's what I would assume, but I don't know because the trailer doesn't give us a lot. It gives us a lot of cool images, and it gives us a lot of like us realizing that, hey, we're gonna get deeper into Frank's we're gonna get even deeper into Frank's um um headspace and stuff like that, obviously, because I do think how the trailer opens up, it's a dream, right? It's a dream that Frank is having because he's talking to Curtis, or a version of Curtis in his head, and then he's still getting haunted by his son showing up in random places, his wife, his daughter, right? So that's why I think that whoever this villain is had something to do with Frank's family's death, right? Or whoever this villain is killed somebody that's very close to Frank, like Curtis or somebody, because obviously Frank is still a Punisher. He will always be the Punisher, right? Daredevil Born Again showed that, like, even though it looked like he was disheveled, right? Um, like, he can still he's still able to fight, right? And stuff like that. And he's still on the run from the vigilante task force guys, right? So I'm gonna be very interested to see what they do in this special that brings Frank peace, right? And brings Frank a new goal. Because obviously he's not gonna stop being the Punisher, but what I mean by a new goal, like, is he gonna be more like heroic in like, because Frank is a hero, right? Some people call him an anti-hero, but he's a hero because he'll go and take out the guys that no other superhero will touch, right? Like, if you haven't read the Punisher Max run or listened to like a video detailing the Punisher Max run, you should go do that, right? Like he'll go and take out people that other superheroes won't touch, right? And um and yeah, like, it's gonna be very interesting because this is very similar to like Daredevil tone and um um and Punisher season 1 and season 2 tone, and then he's gonna be in Spider-Man. So yeah, like, for me, I'm just really, really, really excited for this show. I mean, for this project. And yeah, thank you so much for all your support. If you enjoyed the trailer or you have thoughts on the trailer and who do you think the villain is, please leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.